Yeah, I mean, if he just doesn't want to have that conversation, isn't emotionally ready for it, I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know. Spencer is not the greatest of characters.
You know what he's not ready for? The
What's
show
that?
of emotion that he puts on his face when he has to put his mother out of his misery. He's his expression, his intense grief face reads to me like guy trying to expel a particularly large, particularly firm turd.
Oh God!
Like, he's just really bearing down on it. Like this guy, he seems like a pleasant enough gentleman, not the world's strongest actor.
Yeah, you could say that about several of the people in The Walking Dead.
I mean, it's almost like a parody, like the John Hamm crying on Saturday Night Live thing. Like that's the face you make. And if I had a criticism for the director, it'd be like there wasn't like cut. Here, let's watch some YouTube videos of people experiencing grief. Okay, do you see how it's done?
Yep.
He mentions that she left him a note that said, before she died, said, "I still knew my way. Barley equals intellect, etc., etc." And he said, the joke is, I never did know my way, which I believe. He seems like him and his brother both seem like big fucking idiots.
Yeah, so I like this. I like that he acknowledges that he didn't ever actually know his way. It doesn't say that he can't figure out his way, and I feel like the search for his mom is part of it. Like he's going to try and do right by her, and maybe in the process he will either through a search or through luck find his way.
Yeah.
It's this thing he's doing for himself, and I say good on you.
Okay.
Do what you got to do.
Michonne, meanwhile, while he's digging a grave for his mom, she's carving a giant D on the tree, which I thought was nice foreshadowing. Mm-hmm. He says, all my family's gone, and Michonne's like, you stupid son of a bitch. I followed you out in this woods because I didn't want you to die. I care about you. You have a home back here.
Forest for the trees,
you
man.
You got to get with this Matt Damon Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan sense of family and brotherhood. Okay. Mm-hmm. Daryl and Rick drive Jesus home, and this is a little bit tiresome about Daryl saying, you know that thing we talked about a couple episodes back? Well, I've changed my mind. And Rick's like, well, it's funny because that thing we talked about a couple episodes, I've changed my mind, and now we're at opposite ends of the spectrum again.
Right.
Christ.
Come on. Let this be the last time, Walking Dead. It can't be though, because unless Daryl's going to stay a ripe asshole, you got to turn him. You got to turn him good again, right?
Well, Daryl stayed a ripe asshole for 6 seasons and counting. I don't know that that's exactly
in some ways, but like a lot of the stuff with Carol, he is not.
Sure,
so, I mean,
he's not unwashed, but he's fairly ripe.
He is certainly, yeah.
I thought the next scene, here's the other reason why I don't think Carl has like gone dark, because the scene of him and Judith sitting there and he's teaching her stars and constellations is cute as hell, and that's not something a person with a dark plot storyline does. Mm-hmm. Also, unrated benefit of the zombie apocalypse, dark skies.
Oh yeah, no light pollution.
The darkest of skies. It must be amazing. But he explains, because Michonne's like, what the fuck were you doing out there with your one eye and your sheriff hat? And he finally, can't really put his finger on it, but he kind of, in a pretty good natural feeling dialogue for this character to give, explains the whole idea that like it's my thought that when someone's turned into a zombie, that it's someone that loves them, someone that's family, that takes them out of the picture, that gives them, that puts them at rest.
Yeah.
And he says at the end, stammers out, I'd do it for you. And then I think he kind of sobs a bit. I couldn't quite tell when she gives him a big hug and she goes, I'd do it for you too. And I thought this felt so natural that like she's kind of thinking that this is what she wanted, but now that it's like this is happening, like this all feels like it just a gear turning with another gear.
Perfectly. And I mean, the stuff with Deanna comes back into it too, right? She is finding her way. She's discovering what she wants out of this next world. And
yes,
I mean, that's part of what makes this episode feel so tight, is it both, it's fun to watch, it makes a lot of sense both thematically and plot wise, and I just, this is a good episode.
Rick and Daryl have another conversation.
Oh God,
about how they switcherooed about from the morning after Reg and Pete and whatever. Okay, moving on. They drag Jesus to Denise's house. Then I guess that she's treated him successfully, and they drag him off to drywall prison. I tried to pause and look at this in high def, and the note that he leaves, I think he leaves on a napkin a pair of aspirin or some painkiller. I think it says, "For your head, you're safe. Talk soon, Rick." Is that what you got?
No, I couldn't see what it said.
Okay,
so
but I think that's what with the water
that makes
and
sense.
the whatever he put on the floor. I think there's pills, Advil, aspirin.
It's actually cyanide capsules. You want to trick us, motherfucker? Check this out.
Joke's on you. Rick goes home, and this is kind of a nice juxtaposition of the apocalypse versus now, because this conversation every couple has. Like, I've had a shitty day. I've had a shitty day too. Let's not talk about it. Let's just turn on The Walking Dead and check our brains out.
Sure.
And it quickly turns into a fuck our brains out session.
After he whips out the spearmint.
Yeah, there's an interview with Denai Guerrera where she mentions that was the moment that won her over. Like,
yeah, I read that.
You know, she put it like, he didn't get what you wanted, but your request was important enough that he saw something else, and it's kind of a joke, funny thing, but it led to that final spark and that final intimacy.
Yeah,
like maybe if he doesn't bring home the breath mint, it's just another low 5 and they go to bed.
Probably. Most likely.
But he ends up giving her the low 1. And I mean, I think I was going to prepare for the debate about whether this is the first time, but it seems like after watching it, you've come around to my.
Yeah.
I thought it was also filmed like this. Are two people kind of like, it's always kind of awkward the first time, unless you're porn stars, I suppose. First time you're both, you just don't know. And you weren't planning on this to happen, so you got to shift some positions around and
sure,
etc. There's a beautiful. I mean, I don't want to get all ebony and ivory on people, but there's a beautiful shot of them laying in bed, just really awesomely composed. And then Jesus fucking ruins it, wanting to talk.
Jesus always ruins it.
Yeah, come on. Jesus comes into the bedroom.
It's over.
It's really a boner killer.
Totally.
It really is.
I feel like this has given me an avenue to scream Jesus all the time, which is fun.
Sure.
Maybe. I'm not sure it quite gives me license to yell "goddamn," but when Jesus gets angry, I assume I could get away with that.
Yeah, sure.
And to just make a lot of Jesus puns, which I find fun.
The Jesus puns from hell to breakfast. We're locked in.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing, aside from the intriguing aspects of Jesus himself.
Yeah.
And you'll never actually know which Jesus I'm talking about at any given moment. So
it's great.
That's the best thing of all.
Do you think that Jesus looks Jesus enough?
He doesn't. Like Rick said, his beard is trimmed. Like he's looking clean. I doubt Jesus was that clean of a guy.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he washed his feet and other people's feet every once in a while, but other than that,
clean feet.
I don't think people were that clean back in the day. There's no running water. You got problems.
So you subscribe to the American-centric philosophy that unless you take a shower every day, you're dirty?
I mean, definitionally, yeah, you're probably dirty. Are you
saying that Jesus is a dirty Jew? Because that's borderline offensive,
That's
Jim,
exactly what I said.
Honestly.
No. If that's the case, then all the Jews back then were dirty.
Sorry. Oh my God! What the hell? Just Pontius Pilate over there washing your hands of the whole deal.
I am.
I'm out of Jesus jokes, so we should
right.
probably get the feedback. Yeah,
I think every episode of the podcast, when we're out of Jesus jokes, it's over.
So that's how we'll see you next week then.
Yeah,
what more can he say?
No, we do have a lot of feedback.
I want to reiterate how elated I was as a Rishon shipper that it went down this way, and I thought it felt really natural and it was cute, and it's a very long game constructed thing that they did, and this is arguably I think it's unarguably the most successful Kirkman remix.
Okay.
Because Michonne and Rick, to my knowledge, do not get down in the comic books, and it's the most success. I want to say might be not just the biggest success, might be the only success. I'm trying to think of maybe one or two others that I've enjoyed more, but nothing's bringing to mind.
Okay.
So I don't
know.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with this going forward.
So we have a sponsor to talk about this week. It's Harry's.com, and I think people have heard of Harry's before if you've listened to our shows in the past. You know that I've been using their products for a couple of years now and have been immensely satisfied, I would say. They are way less expensive than trying to go to a store and buy your shaving products. And I really like their...
and by the way, you don't have the whole going to a store part.
Exactly. And their online process is super easy. It takes like 30 seconds to go just find what you want on their store and check out. It's streamlined. And you save a lot of money doing that. And they ship it right to your door. So, stay in your pajama pants like I do for this podcast. Just have them ship your shaving supplies right to you. It's good stuff, and the quality's great on them. They have their own factory. It's over in Germany, so the engineering is sound. They've got they make their own blades in house, and they transfer that savings onto you. The starter kit, which includes the razor handle, 3 blades, I think, and I don't know. It's been a while since I got the starter kit because I've upgraded now.
You're in the intermediate kit.
I'm no starter.
Pretty soon you're going to be an expert.
Right. But I think it also comes with your choice of shaving cream or the shaving gel. I prefer the gel myself. I've tried them both. Like the gel a lot. It's only $15 for a starter kit. And if you go there right now, you go to harrys.com and use the promo code BALDMOVE, all one word and all caps, you can get $5 off your order. So it's a really good deal to start out with because you get everything you need.
Also, it's they make great gifts, too. Like, if you're not a person that personally shaves your face, such as myself. Is it too soon to talk about Father's Day? It's coming up in June.
When is Father's Day? No, June?
It's like that's a couple months away, but, you got to plan ahead. And dads are notoriously hard to shop for. But if your dad is scraping the hair off his face on a daily basis, you can do a lot worse than a Harry's starter package.
Yeah,
also,
absolutely.
Maybe this is another controversial comment. If I know there's a lot of ladies out there unsatisfied with their shave.
Oh,
these are German engineered blades. I suspect they would do as good a job removing hair from armpits and legs as they do faces.
You have to imagine, yeah.
But I could be wrong.
I don't think they discriminate on type of hair they shave.
No,
I think a hair's a hair to Harry's.
Yeah, they're all equally. It's all stubble's equal.
I feel like I've come up with a new slogan for Harry's. A hair's a hair.
It's just it's all stubble to us.
Right. So yeah, like I said, go to harrys.com, use the promo code BALDMOVE, all one word, all caps, and you get $5 off your first order. Okay, should we get to feedback?
Yes. And then I actually have a lot to say about the spoilers section.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a couple of emails for that too. So here's what I really like about our audience. For this podcast, they, much like the show, will flip-flop on it. When it's when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. And I like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, call it like you see it, and give the show credit where credit's due.
I think it's only fair, and I'm glad to hear because I wasn't sure. I knew from the forums that there was a few grumblings, but mostly it's an incredibly positive experience. And I kind of, just like I said, I'm glad I didn't lose the ability. I'm glad other people didn't either.
Exactly. And there are a couple grumblings and feedback as well.
Which is fair. But this wasn't a perfect episode.
Exactly.
But if every episode of Walking Dead was like this would be a completely different podcast.
Yeah. So I want to go first to last week's episode with a single email, or a couple of emails about how it all went down.
Do it.
JF says, I'm interested to know why you didn't comment on how we see Carol's effect on Sam in his last minutes. We've paid a lot of attention to ethics of what Morgan did in keeping the wolf alive, but in this episode we were shown where Carol's threats and hard and nasty approach with the child lead to, namely, causing the death of 3 people and Carl's losing of an eye. Whereas Morgan's decision led to the wolf sacrificing himself for Denise, although this was through the wolf's own fault for dragging her out there in the first place, of course. But which character's actions actually caused the most real harm? In the end, in this circumstances, Carol's did.
That's a strong take.
That is a fair point, but that's a lot like... I want to say law of averages. This episode has me saying law of averages on everything. It just as easily could have gone the other way, right? Like with hindsight, of course, we can always point to something and say, well, this worked out for our benefit.
So you're saying that it's just as likely that he would have kept his mouth shut and gone catatonic as what he did do? Like, what are you trying to say? Or just
straight up killed Denise, right? He's a lunatic. He's left alone with a woman at knife point.
I thought you were talking about because I think that same thing works for Carol too. Like her bullying him might have kept him like in a weird way in line to get through the zombies, whereas if he'd been coddled his whole life, he loses his shit. It's like it does seem like only in the benefit of hindsight. Now, I will say that these are things that we should have probably analyzed, but I was just really over last week's episode. I come back from the break and I get this shit sandwich, and I'm not going to lie, the worse the episode, probably the worse my quality of analysis is, because I try.
You don't want to put that much thought into it.
My
because
process is the same, but I can't summon the fire. You know that you do when you get a really good episode. That's a joy to rewatch and watch again.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'd watched this episode 3 times. I did it the live watch, then I did my note-taking watch, and then as I was doing the research, I threw it on again in the background, and because it was a really fun episode. In fact, but last time I watched it, I really enjoyed the whole chase aspect, which I think you thought was corny.
The Benny Hill scene.
I thought it was really like, I think like, nope, this is intentional comedy, and I'm kind of digging it.
Okay.
These are 2 good old boys trying to catch a grease pig, and that tickled me.
You're absolutely right. That scene was meant to be funny. I get it. This show has me whiplash so hard episode to episode with both the quality and the tone, and it's all over the map.
The other thing is, I wonder if this was not a feel-good episode otherwise. Like, if you take out the Rashon and the
Enid and Carl
McCarl, that made me feel so good that there wasn't a big tonal shift. Like, if they had this farcical chase in the middle of an otherwise dreary, someone dying, crazy stuff happen episode, it might have been like, oh, what the fuck are they doing?
Totally.
But the whole feel and energy of this episode was kind of a jazzed up, feel good, everyone's having a good time, and like, I feel like that maybe even the people in The Walking Dead knew this was going to be well received, because it seems like they had from the interviews that they'd been waiting for this to happen, that maybe that even infected the way they approached the episode and what they brought to it. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, you got to get people.
We've been saying that, like, if you want to sell goofy shit, your level of execution and overall other aspects of excellence, if you want to be successful, then be successful.
All right, that's what Tony Robbins says anyway.
Yeah.
So I do agree with JF, but only with the benefit of hindsight. And I think if the show pursues that angle a little bit, and Carol and Morgan have that conversation, I know they've kind of had similar conversations.
But that's the thing, like, when they start talking,
they're talking past each other.
And I'm tuning them out because I'm so fucking tired of it.
Right. But now I feel like they've both had their moments where they've recognized, look, my way's not perfect, his way's not perfect, her way's not perfect, whatever. They can now come together and maybe have an honest talk about this to figure out where they can meet in the middle, because I don't know. Carol still says she probably should have killed Morgan.
Yeah.
But does that mean she would now kill Morgan? Or does that mean that...
It's like the Gandalf Frodo thing. It's like, there's a lot of people deserve death, and there's a lot of people deserve life. Can you give it to them? You know? I also think, because I've said mea culpa about the analysis and what on a podcast, but I also want to say, don't you think the show has some responsibility to raise that issue as well? Like, that's an issue that's something on the table. They could have fucking gone there.
Well, I feel like,
but they
didn't. They either might or they did, and we didn't notice it. Like,
well, the 2-month jump. That's why I'm saying that's the big missed opportunity, especially that feedback. Like, I think there was room for both of them to be chasing, but maybe a third party come in and be like, except for the problem with Carol is that she would have to confess this, because this thing that she did with Sam was between her and him, and it was very secret. Uncomfortably so. Whereas the Morgan thing was this public embarrassment. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe Carol will forgive Morgan in the context of no one knows this, but this is what I did to Sam, and then Sam died, and Carl got his eye showed out, and I've thought every night since how much of what I did for truly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, this, Carol did that for paranoid reasons too. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess that they could still redeem that.
They could have a conversation because we clearly didn't see everybody in this episode.
Sure.
So maybe we'll get there. Talking one more time about this last episode. Vayton, I don't know, Thetans, says the Michonne actress said, Denai Guerrera, or if you're Chris Hardwick, Guerrero. I don't know how he pronounced it, but it was...
Hey, I've done that. Like, I'm halfway through the word. I'm like, I don't know how this ends. Blah, 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 blah. You know?
I bet he does. I bet when you sit on a couch with a woman, she will probably tell you how to pronounce her name.
I know, but I'm saying in a minute. That's the thing on live. That's live too, right?
Yeah.
That's a live show.
Maybe
that's the thing. Everyone's like, Aaron's a fucking idiot. Yes, I am. But also try doing this for thousands and thousands of hours, and I bet you're surprised how many times you sound like an idiot.
Yeah, so I'll just say Denai because I know that's how you pronounce it. Said that
Guerrera. I've heard her pronounce her own day. It's Guerrera, right? She doesn't roll her R's or anything.
I don't know, man. Chris Hardwick has me confused. Denai said that he
just made animal noise. He got Gur and then just continued the animal noises.
There's a donkey in there somewhere.
There's a fit. You got the demon.
So let me try and get through this very, very short email. Denai said this was 2 months after Carl's money shot. Why wasn't this the mid-season premiere? And that is right on. Right fucking on.
Yep, that's rolling the criticism from last week forward. Yes. This would have been a really solid season premiere. Can you even imagine?
And that would have been a really solid season finale. Like, you go out with Carl saying, Dad, Dad, and his eyes shot out. People are losing their fucking minds at the end of the season versus... We come back to that. It's so weird.
I mean, there have been like, I can't, that's a false cliffhanger, and et cetera, et cetera. But,
and then jumping forward, people might not have liked that.
But no, I can't imagine anyone are bitching as much as like last week over.
Right, it's really weird. Really weird that wasn't the finale.
Yeah.
Mid-season finale.
Oh, well.
All right, let's move on to this episode. Jake A. says, have to say I had high hopes in the beginning of this episode. I was hoping they would sprinkle in a few lighthearted moments from time to time, but this turned into a screwball buddy comedy. But I have to say, the episode redeemed itself with how cool Jesus was, and of course, Roshone.
Yeah.
Felt like a true romantic moment that felt real. Gonna be sad when the writers screw this up. So Jake is giving him momentary props, but inevitably they'll screw it up, is what he thinks. I don't totally disagree. And I don't know, I'm not sure that I'm totally on board with the idea that a screwball buddy comedy, couple of moments of that is a bad thing.
No.
I really enjoyed that.
No, what do we love on Game of Thrones? The traveling road shows.
Oh, that's true.
You get two characters and you bounce them off each other. That's always a good time.
Have some banter, have some good lines in there. Yeah.
I feel like if that's the thing, all the road shows to this point have been fucking bummers.
Yeah.
You know, throw some personality into them and you might have something. You know what would be an awesome road show? Eugene and Tara. Can you imagine him just slowly driving her insane, and she finally has to like level with him?
And
then maybe he'd actually get some personal growth, because that seems like the only thing that motivates him is being berated.
Yeah, but it's weird because he seems to have that knowledge about the outside perspective of who he is. And yet he does nothing to adjust, right?
Yeah, no, they're playing Eugene as very less of a social chameleon disguise and more of just straight up autistic. Yeah,
they are, which I'm okay with. I mean, I think that's an interesting take on the character.
Sure.
Even if it's not 100% faithful to whatever the comic was.
Sure.
Whatnot. Anyway, Johnny in Virginia says, I felt this was one of the best Walking Dead episodes ever. He puts a question mark in there. Action, laughs, showing us instead of telling us. Jesus and Roshone.
I mean, there's been some good ones. There's a lot in season 1. There was I remember the season 5, mid-season 5 premiere. The one where Carol busted him out of Terminus.
Clear is another
there's
one.
been some good ones. But, I mean, as far as enjoyable entertainment, you know, having a break from the misery porn was nice.
Yeah, I thought so. He goes on, and this is some of the stuff I really want to talk about here. Among the standout scenes was Michonne and Carl's debriefing after the forest. The look on Michonne's face when Carl implies that she qualifies as family was perfectly done, powerful, and makes sense given what we know about her character's past. I think we talked a lot about that in the recap.
Absolutely,
But yeah, he's right on that. That was great. He also thought it was totally realistic how Rick and Michonne gloss over the day's events. He says his wife and he are both teachers, and they do that because they deal with the exact same shit. They don't even talk about the specific things. One thing he doesn't quite get, how would Deanna be a walker? Wouldn't she be ripped apart from the walkers that closed in on her? Even if she became a walker, how does she escape being killed by the Alexandrians over all this time?
Well, how about, I mean, that show plays fast because, like, the wolf got shot, tackled walkers, clearly went down screaming, and yet he's an intact zombie by the end of the episode. So, I mean, you'd think he'd get the Lori treatment. He'd just be a bulge in some zombie's belly, but no.
Well, I imagine it's tough.
But you're right.
I mean, it's tough to eat a brain, right? So the brain is the thing that reanimates you. Like, but yeah, if
but
you
he
eat
wasn't
off
skeletonized,
the
or he didn't have like half his face ripped off,
right?
Because they have to have him recognizably the character, right?
Sure.
But you're right. That's something that we didn't talk about. It is a load of horse shit that zombie Deanna stumbled down the staircase,
out the front door,
doors,
through the horde, which was focused on killing everyone at the time,
right?
Like,
yeah,
wasn't drawn to the fire by Daryl shooting an RPG.
Wasn't rounded up as a scatter. Like
it's insane.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
So,
and honestly, I don't.
But like Johnny says, he's willing to overlook that because the rest of the episode was so awesome.
And that's the thing. Like, I didn't care about the Spencer angle of that at all.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about Spencer, but it did enable that nice scene between Carl and Michonne. So I'll allow it.
Mark just echoes the number one priority: get the damn truck home with all the food, then check out the farm. I agree. Jay says, just wanted to say I thought this episode was pretty good by Walking Dead standards, but a couple of points about the episode annoyed me. So a little dissent here. And this may be...
I might even agree with him. I don't know.
Oh, okay, here we go. First of all, the whole letting people in thing is getting tiresome now. I'm bored of all the flip-flopping that's happening from Rick, Daryl, etc.
Yep.
Hopefully this show will end, or hopefully this... Not the show will end. Hopefully this will end now, but I highly doubt it. I mean, how many times have we hoped before on this show?
Well, I feel like that from here on out, Rick cannot flip flop on this new world.
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
It's worth cooperating. It's worth building. It's worth fighting for.
And I will tolerate one more Daryl flip flop to get him back on the side of Alexandria.
But if Rick goes, to fuck the world, I don't care if Michonne dies. I don't care if Carl dies. I don't care if Judith dies. Like,
all at once at the same time.
He can. I mean, she's still human.
He can only take so much.
But like this, they've done this before. He's had so many other transformative moments, Farmer Rick, all that bullshit. But like, seriously, enough. This is a new goddamn chapter.
It's not that there's nothing that couldn't change this guy back. It's that we don't want to see it again.
Yeah.
This is at the end of the day a TV show.
And he could, but like, I don't have faith that they would be able to do the pay. I mean, again, they did it with Rick and Michonne's relationship arc. Mm-hmm. But I'm really struggling, and they also did a beautiful job with Carol. They've done some long-form, transformative characters. They've done a good job with Daryl. I guess everyone has fucking had the good fortune to stick around for 6 seasons. They've not done a bad job with. But I don't know that I've got the patience for a 4 to 5 season transformation of Rick into back to a crazy person again.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm with you. I don't really want to see that. Secondly, he says, I didn't like the whole speech between Carl and Michonne. I mean, he says he got what he needed from what happened out in the woods when Carl didn't kill Deanna. He understood that. Didn't feel the need for a speech to wrap it up or have it be less subtle.
But Michonne didn't. Yeah, I mean, I guess my disagreement there is Michonne needed it, and also that was telling you something about her status in the family, not so much Carl's worldview about zombie relatives.
Right. That conversation wasn't to tell us why Carl did what he did.
Yeah.
But to tell us how he feels about Michonne and how Michonne now is going to feel about everyone else, and Carl especially.
And I thought it was pretty delicate construction. The scene at the beginning, her conversation with Spencer, her conversation with Carl, and then getting down to business with Rick.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alice in the UK says, and I want to preface this by saying she's watching backwards from season 6.
What?
So when she talks about some of this stuff,
some
she's
memento
like,
shit. What's going on?
Yeah. Wait, did I say Alice? I meant Christopher Nolan in the UK.
Are we the voice on the telephone in the black and white segment that she's having a conversation with? What's going on?
She watched season 1 and she said, fuck this show, and then she just got back into it, and now she's watching back. I don't know why she chose to go backwards, but she did. She says, what the fuck?
I did that with, what show? I think I did that with True Blood.
I think I did.
I did another one where I went backwards. Well, Always Sunny, but who gives a shit?
Right.
That has no real... I mean, yeah, there's some things with
but...
Crickety Ricket or whatever that I'm like, what the fuck? But
right. He looks like a crazy
and
character.
also Frank got progressively more sane.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the anti-Homer Simpson if you watch it backwards.
So Alice says, what the fuck? Why is there such hatred for Carol? And I didn't realize there was a ton of hatred for Carol.
This is the wrong shop to preach Carol hatred.
Right. She says any other character who acts on his or her own moral code doesn't get shit on like this. Take Rick, for example. He also killed a child, sort of. He acts with impunity, makes unilateral decisions, often to the detriment of the group. Carol committed her supposed transgressions to protect her people. She didn't shy away from the work because it was tough. She killed a child, sure, but one that was about to kill baby Judith, and who had already killed Mika and was purposefully attracting walkers everywhere she went. I've heard she killed 2 sick people in the prison. Yes. I'm only partway through that part of the series, but I'm assuming this is the sickness that leads people to become zombies. No? Well, yeah, sure, but it doesn't start there, obviously. And yeah, she frightened Sam to keep him quiet, but she didn't do this for no reason. She was protecting her group and the secret of the guns. She didn't do anything more serious than tell a kid a boogeyman story. The best one she had for a kid who's never been outside the walls, and I have no reason to believe she'd ever actually make good on the threat, tie him to a tree, and let the walkers eat him. What I believe is happening in her mind is that she has had some cruel luck concerning kids, losing her own, losing Mika, and having to take care of the problem with Lizzie. Now Sam wants to latch onto her, and I think she feels like she can't have another child close to her. It's too hurtful and dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, I don't...
That she's taken a lot of shit unjustly.
I don't know, because I feel like we've been pretty fair and balanced with her character arc.
Right, and I can't tell if she's talking about the show blowing her shit, because I don't feel like it really has much, except
also,
for Morgan.
Her, we talked about... I was honestly outraged that Rick banished her. That was the thing. Like, I tried to be not hypocritical about it, and like... Yes, Carol, you have a council. Mm-hmm. You have all gotten together and tried to reboot civilization, and then you go and do whatever the hell you want. But then Rick did the same goddamn thing when he banished her.
And we called that out on the show.
Yes. So I feel like, characters can do whatever you want to do. And like sometimes when we criticize, I'm not saying like this is terrible television. I'm actually just criticizing what I think the characters are doing.
Right.
Like the same way I would talk about politics or, whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I don't feel like it's a point she has with the I don't know. Certainly, I don't feel like it's a point she has with our podcast. Maybe she does.
Yeah, it might be the community in general,
I guess
or just Morgan.
The way we're bitching about her and Morgan, if you weren't along the ride to hear everything we said about the prison sickness arc, might seem harsh. But I feel like if you view it through that lens, we've got a pretty balanced view of Carol and her arc. And I'm broadly pro Carol, and like all the things she did made sense for her character. And
for the record, I loved seeing her threaten Sam.
It was awesome.
I thought it was freaking amazing.
It was awesome.
And
I don't mind that stuff. I don't mind it at all. I thought that was interesting television, and that's the thing. Like characters can do dumb, stupid, bad things as long as it's interesting and not repetitive.
Sure, people in the real world and characters on TV can make bad decisions.
Sure.
Happens. Daniel E. says, just a quick email. Right at the end of episode 10, which is this one, we see both Rick and Michonne lying in bed before Jesus wakes them up asking to talk. Mm-hmm. My question is this: how many houses do you think he broke into before finding Rick's? I would have loved to have been there when he opened Gabriel's bedroom door, introducing himself as Jesus. Gabriel's all groggy. What's happening, Jesus? I can see it now.
Because he went to bed praying for the Lord to reveal himself and for his purpose. And
right.
Oh, man, that would be hilarious.
Yep.
I mean, maybe he's got like got predator vision or something. The other thing is, Jesus, Rick left you a note saying they'll talk soon. Mm-hmm. What the hell is this breaking into his bedroom to a guy that?
So he could be breaking in to warn him of something bad that's about to happen imminently, right?
Okay, that's a decent take, sure.
What else could he be doing?
If this is just him
Just
wanting
trying
to
to sneak a
talk,
peek?
like Rick was going to see you in the morning, dude. You break into his house with his python and his gun, and
Right.
yeah,
one.
yeah, and Michonne's sword. Like, I don't know. It might be
And
slightly
her sheath.
over.
Are we gonna just go all out on the jokes? Is that what's gonna happen?
I feel like that maybe they're overplaying the Jesus hand a bit.
Okay. They did a good job. If this is in fact what they set out to do, they intended is they did a really good job making him seem like a fucking magician.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing can keep him
Sure.
captive. Like he's a real badass when it comes to escaping.
But getting out of the ropes and onto the truck in the space that it took Rick and Daryl to bug out.
Spin some keys on his finger.
Yeah, that already kind of sold me on it. If I hope he has something more important to say than just say, "Hey, we need to talk."
Right.
I got some shit I need to tell you. Like that was already going to be handled, man.
Indeed.
So, whatever.
All right, Shelby S. says, do you guys have any thoughts on the kite that Enid picked up? I guess we kind of talked about this.
Thought it was a balloon, but
Yeah, she was wondering if it symbolized anything. She says, perhaps it does, but I have no idea what.
well, I mean, Enid told you to plain reading, which is it means they're not alone, which seems like that is a potentially positive thing with Jesus, because we understand that he's lying about not having a camp, right?
Obviously.
And also a scary thing when it comes to Negan's guys. So that's like a double-edged sword there.
Right.
But also we know they're not alone because of Jesus and the Negan guys. So
So does the balloon have more
I don't know.
meaning? I didn't read anything into it.
Maybe it's would it be cool if she does like some kind of bloodhound gang bullshit where she rubs lemon juice on it and holds it over a light bulb and oh my god, the writing's
Does that work with actual ink?
I don't know. I can't. There's some kind of invisible ink thing,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
maybe she just lightly rubs it with a charcoal pencil, and she can see what the indentations on the paper. Like,
maybe.
Would there be
Like Big Lebowski?
Is
sort
there
of deal?
room in The Walking Dead for like a Lost style mystery that might span a season or two, like the slow breadcrumbs that lead to something big? Because that's the only thing.
As long as they can do something else, because that was the thing with Lost. There were so many mysteries.
Yeah, well, sure.
They always had a mission to go on. They always had something to do.
And they also had no idea where they're building to. I'm assuming that Kirkman and company and Gimple would have something they're building to. But yeah, symbolically, it just seems like it's what Enid said it was.
Okay. Moving on, Drew. He seems to think that we know something about Hollywood and contracts. I don't know if you do, but I'm going to ask you this.
I've talked about it, yeah.
I know, very briefly. He says, as the closest thing to Hollywood insiders, perhaps you can... That's definitely not true.
I listen to Alan Sepinwall's podcast. That's my qualification.
He says, perhaps you can tell me if a Walking Dead episode only features 3 to 4 actors, does that mean nobody else gets paid that week, even if they are major stars of the program? Also, what is the difference in the credits when an actor is listed as starring or featuring versus some other designation? Is that a contract or SAG requirement?
Well, so that's all...
It is.
It's all incredibly complicated. It is all tied up to compensation. It's also a prestige thing, and it's also something that's negotiated, and it's relevant for award purposes.
Like, wasn't Norman
But
Reedus
it's
listed
also-
as a guest star?
I think in the first season,
yeah.
which is why he had a automatic 1 year. It's the same thing in like college when you have a red shirt. What do they call it? A red shirt freshman, which means he's essentially a sophomore, but he didn't play for his first year. I mean, there's like all kinds of games that they can play, and that's the thing. Like, I can't tell you a particular meaning it has because there's tons of meaning in it, but you'd have to know the individual actor and whatnot. But yeah, like how many? It's can be used if another actor, they're sharing him with another show. So they can do these bottle episodes to shoot around someone's schedule. It also, I think, is tied in their like compensation because there's specific. This is all unionized stuff. There's formulas and rules. I'm sure next week we'll have someone to probably illuminate more, but
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you precisely what it means, but yes, it does mean. And like the other thing that you can keep in mind, this is according to some professional critics I've read, is that like most series start off like from a pilot, like with a 5-year contract. Mm-hmm. So it's at the 5-year mark where, you know, if a show's a hit, where some friction can start showing up with the actors because they're negotiating different deals and who's the star to get the big money and who's not. Like, so it seems like The Walking Dead's a fairly harmonious crew, but that's also probably because everyone could be killed at any time outside of like Andrew Lincoln.
I was gonna say, I bet
Riggs.
Andrew Lincoln is making more money than the rest of them. A, he was a much bigger star when he started.
Yes,
and B, he's the most important character in the show.
Yeah, I would think. Well, I mean, there was a lot of Andrew Lincoln-sized stars on the show from the beginning. I mean, and Norman Reedus was kind of an Andrew Lincoln-sized star, but
that's arguable. I'll give you it. I'll give it to you though.
But he wasn't. You know, Andrew Lincoln was the only one that was in every episode in season 1.
Yeah.
So I think that yes, there's definitely. Again, I can't tell you specifically what all these tea leaves mean, but they're all fraught with meaning and agents and commissions and all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Ashley has some comments about diversity and The Walking Dead, which is a perennial topic for this show.
Okay.
She says, I've been waiting for Michonne to happen for literally 3 years now since the Clear episode, so I could not be happier
Welcome to the club.
Right now. And I just want to give a little credit to The Walking Dead because it's done something here that very few shows get right. The conversation about the lack of diversity in Hollywood is so important, and I really appreciate that this show has never shied away from it. As much flack as they get for just about everything, but especially the rate at which they kill off black male characters, The Walking Dead is still one of the most diverse shows on television. Characters of various races, sexual orientations, strong women and weak men, all shapes and sizes and complexions. It's really nice to see one of the biggest shows in the world, on one of the biggest shows in the world, and I think it's a big reason for their success. As for Rick and Michonne, I definitely...
That's probably true.
That's probably true, yeah. I mean... You know, there's the old saying, you can't be all things to all people, but...
No, but there's a face on this show that speaks to everyone. Yeah. Whatever you grew up, whatever your religious affiliation, whatever your sexual orientation, whatever your race. I mean, maybe the only thing is like there's no rich or poor people. I mean, everybody's like fucking... prehistoric
but
levels
the zombie
of
apocalypse is the great equalizer.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
as far as class goes,
like even age, there's older people that are badasses. There's younger people that are badasses. Like it really cast a wide net, and fucking 17 million people watch it.
Yeah, I don't doubt that's part of the reason.
Doesn't turn anyone away.
She goes on. As for Rick and Michonne, I definitely thought the relationship would happen eventually, but as a black woman, there's always that seed of doubt in the back of your mind that they'll be treated. That will be treated well in narratives like this. So often, especially when the star of the show is a white male, we're relegated to the sidekick, the funny best friend, the strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man. Mm-hmm. And when Jesse came along, a significantly less interesting, less suitable partner for this version of Rick, I thought, here we go again.
I was super worried about that last week.
Yeah, I mean, we talked pretty extensively about what does this do for Rick and Michonne if Jesse and him get together.
It would be like this show to carefully construct this relationship and be like, nah, fuck it, go for another blonde.
But no, her time with Rick was more of a rebound period, a seg into the idea of living again instead of just surviving, and probably the reason he could be so open with Michonne.
You know, that's a really good point. The lens of Jesse's the rebound. Like, this is the first person he was intimate with outside of Lori. Yep. And that kind of got those juices flowing again, so that when she died, then Michonne was the it's obvious,
right?
Huh? All right,
cleared his eyes a little bit. So I applaud Gimple and company for taking that leap of faith and letting the story play out exactly the way it needed to. I thank them for breaking the stereotype and letting Michonne be fierce, vulnerable, desirable, motherly, hopeful, and everything else. Representation matters, and I feel as though The Walking Dead is one of the few shows that understands that. Yeah, I agree with her. They're, you know, for all the other shit we blow it about its structure and pacing and all that stuff, they're doing a really good job with that.
And I do think that's been a deliberate thing that they've tried to do from about season 3 on, because they did catch a lot of shit. And they sometimes, I still think they step in it a bit because it's like, oh shit, we need to do these beats with these characters and we haven't really served them. And
Yeah.
you know, there was little rumblings of the whole how lethal it is to be a black man in the Walking Dead universe. You know, what with
absolutely
Tyrese,
everybody, Bob, T-Dog,
yeah.
like just so many of them.
But no, I think and that's also, I think that you have to, I also blow them shit on some of the creative side. But if you look at if you look at the directors, you look at the writers, there's also a lot of diversity there too.
Yeah, that's true.
From gender and racial perspective. So that stuff pays off dividends.
For sure. Barry C. from the UK says, not a very exciting episode, but a useful one. There were a lot of potentially tedious plot points that were economically progressed with the time jump. Rick is chilled out. Daryl has got more paranoid. Carl is fine. The wall is being built again. Denise is sweet on fist bump. Spencer and Edith are slowly feeling a sense of belonging in the group. Michonne appears to have forgiven herself for the child stab plus eye loss combo. Rick and Michonne, oh yeah. While it has a lot of issues, the one thing that always gets my goat with The Walking Dead is the passage of time. Whole series sometimes span a few days, and while I think when he says series, he means he's from the UK, so he means season. And all the while, Carl gets taller and taller. So this episode was dull, but welcome. I didn't really think it was dull, but okay. He says what? He says WDTY, which I think he meant, what do you think? And he said, what do you think you?
Sure. It's or maybe are we down the fuck?
And there's no F in there.
I thought you said WDTF. What do you think?
Said WWJJF. What would Jesus fuck?
I don't agree that it was boring, but I don't know. I was actually daydreaming about I was continuing to meditate while I was listening to you read the email about we blow Gimple a lot of shit, and I go to hear people rolling their eyes like, oh my god, they had one good episode and now all's forgiven.
No, not for me.
But I try to as much as I judge, I also try to understand.
Right.
I'm thinking like season 3 of the X-Files, Chris Carter gets fired and they flip the keys to Vince Gilligan. Beautiful,
wonderful.
Is it?
I think so.
Or did he need those reps as a writer and then a story editor and then, progressing up the writing room to then do Breaking Bad?
Right.
Whereas Scott Gimple, he is in that position and he's literally learning on the job. And it's not an easy job. If it was, we'd have a lot, we'd have a shit ton more good TV. Well, I mean, we kind of are drowning in it now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have gotten the reps and, whatnot. But so, what would, it's the X-Files end up being a clusterfuck anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Seasons. And that's I'm speaking from, with hindsight here.
Yeah.
I think X-Files might have been better off with Vince Gilligan at the helm. Season 4. I don't know. I hear season 4 is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
The future ones were not, and so...
I don't know. I just sometimes wonder, I will still criticize them for decisions they make and for some of the stupid stuff they do, but I also understand, what it's like. I think I understand what a position he's in, especially when you're dealing with a creator who has got a strong influence, who is also inexperienced and maybe a bit of an asshole, and Robert Kirkman. And you've also got the studio suits that are squeezing you for every dime.
Yeah.
That is not, creative nirvana there.
Sure.
It's reasons, not excuses.
Right.
But I do try to understand where he's coming from.
Okay. Well, that's it. That's all the feedback we have.
All right. Well, we still got spoilers.
We do.
I got some things to ponder.
Yeah. So there'll be a little bit of music, and then we're going to go right into the spoiler section. So for people who don't want to hear that, they can tune out. Can they contact us anywhere if they want to get their feedback in?
I suppose. WatchingDead@baldmove.com is where you'd send a long-form email. And we also have the weekly threads on the forums at forums.baldmove.com if you want to get in your feedback. I mean, we don't really use that for feedback. It's more just discussion with me and the Jim and the rest of the fellow fans.
Yeah. I don't mind the forums or Facebook or anything for feedback.
There's just it's
all email. If you want to get, I'm
you
stuck
got a high
in the
volume.
80s.
You're going to get a high volume spigot like the email feed. It's easy.
It's true. We moved the show up a day, and I'm still getting 9+ pages of feedback.
And we're only 2 episodes in, man.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for the episode. See all the spoiler people after the music. Until then, I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron. See ya.
And we're back with the spoiler section.
Holy moly, this is a long podcast.
Yeah, it is. I have a couple of emails, but
I want to talk about some things up
I only
front.
have one email.
Okay, well, I got some things. So, some of this is a little bit of looking ahead to my fuzzy comic memory. Some of this is piecing together things I've learned in the last 2 episodes. The first thing I want to talk about is Tara and Heath going on a 2-week run.
Where are they going?
Well, I mean, I talked about the Boogeyman, which is the dreaded 3-episode arc of 2 characters we don't really know about, and whether that could be a good thing or bad thing. But we talked about in terms of Negan beating the shit out of someone's head with a baseball bat. It's been Glenn and Daryl.
Yeah.
These guys are going to be out for a 2-week run. That means they're going to be ranging far and wide. They might get captured by Negan, and these are the 2 that show up outside the gates, and Negan actually beats the brains out of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, and I feel like that this is maybe the underrated choice. Like, if you beat Tara to death, that
Poor Denise.
You've got Denise that you've built up this sweet kind of love story that you don't have to burn the Maggie and Glenn card, and Maggie's, pregnant, and that's certainly beating Glenn to death would be poignant. But if they're scared about doing that, Tara is an underrated choice, because I like Tara. Tara's been for like an eye-rolling, annoying, a stupid character to someone that I actually care about.
Yep.
And the fact, like, Denise is my new favorite character. And the fact that she's got the squeeze on her, that would be pretty. That would mean a lot to me.
It would,
in a bad way.
Yeah. It would be a real shame.
But yeah, I'm thinking like, and the thing is like this could just be a throwaway line to get the Orange Crush. But now, I'm trying to give Walking Dead more credit, and that this is actually going to be a story idea that yields benefits.
Yeah, giving that relationship meaning before the episode where they kill her, right?
Yeah.
As they've done so frequently. Is there any chance that, I know you've talked about what's his nuts, Ezekiel or Isaac or whatever his name is up on the hill?
Well, he's in the kingdom.
Tiger guy.
Yep.
Is there any chance that they find him while they're out on their journeys?
So I'll talk about the next time on. Next time on, Jesus says your world's about to get bigger.
Yeah.
I think, and that's I was really I had to suppress an inner fist bump on that, because I feel like that is confirmation that we're going to get at least the hilltop.
Okay.
And that's what I said in the spoiler section last week. Like, I don't know that the golden age, this new golden age of Walking Dead we're heading into, works unless you have the cooperation of multiple locations against. I mean, that's essentially, the League of Nations against Hitler kind of thing. And it's not going to be as poignant if it's just Rick's crew. So introducing Jesus in the comics, Jesus is from Hilltop, Ezekiel's from the Kingdom. The Kingdom and the Hilltop are aware of each other. It'd be awesome if we got all 3.
Yeah.
You got Alexandria, which is now, I forgot to mention this in the podcast, branded as the Alexandria Safe Zone, the Hilltop and the Kingdom. So, I don't know. I think getting the Hilltop's the minimum. It'd be nice to get the Kingdom. I don't know how they do the Tiger. The Tiger would be badass, though. Like a tiger tearing through zombies. That would be freaking sweet.
Yeah. The other thing is, we talked a little bit about this in the main cast. Him walking in on Rick, Jesus walking in on Rick at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jesus' group a nefarious group? Are they evil? Are they...
No.
Like, what would he be saying we got to talk about?
I don't know.
So urgently.
I think it's just that he wants to introduce trade. And that was the interesting thing about Jesus
strange.
Is that when they first contact Jesus, Rick ends up torturing him for information. But as I mentioned with the Aaron plot 2 seasons ago, I feel like they've already remixed that thing to bring it up. So, like, I don't know what they're really doing with Jesus. And again, the comic guys, I could be wrong because it's been like 3 years since I read this plot. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see where they go with that. But no, the Hilltop, none of these are evil. They're all kind of like it's a lot less risky to just give Negan what they want. Like, and Negan's the kind, he's not he's certainly a parasite, but the burdens he puts on this communities are not. I mean, it's in his best interest that they stay healthy and strong and able to give him the tribute. He's actually a really kind of wise warlord of a leader, but he also doesn't want him to get so strong that they oppose him.
Right.
The other crucial thing is that at this point in The Walking Dead, almost all the communities are out of ammo. And Rick
okay.
has a brief injection, and
And we've seen they're pretty stocked with ammo.
Sure. And
At
now,
our
how long will that
Alexandria.
last if they have a big war with Negan? And like, what
Yeah.
kind of tactics will use to fight that? I know that Negan does have bullets, but they also do a lot of, bow and arrow and spears and things. Like, it gets like Stone Age level, and that's kind of like how the other places roll. So I'm kind of interested in, and I think Jesus saying, "Do you guys even have ammo?" was interesting, because I think that foreshadows this plot development. It also makes me think. It makes that the mouth of Negan from last episode make a lot more sense, the way he's kind of pussyfooting around killing these guys. He's trying to make them afraid, and look at all these guns. You don't know if they're loaded or not, but it wouldn't surprise me if maybe only 1 or 2 were loaded.
Yeah. Which is extra funny that then he uses an RPG to just blow the hell out of them.
Sure. I don't remember them having such an overwhelming firepower advantage. And I'm wondering how, because, again, that's the interesting thing about the Negan plot, is it takes Rick essentially drunk with power and self-righteousness and the belief that their unity of brotherhood and badasses can overcome all.
Yeah.
And just Negan wads that into a ball and shows him how kind of helpless he is, because that brotherhood can be exploited, because he just has to say, hey, I'm going to beat this man to death. And if I come back and you give me shit about this tribute, I'm going to kill every man, woman, and child in this dwelling. So chew on that. And there's shit tons more of us than there are of you.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
There was, so I'm wondering if Jesus could also be wanting to talk about Negan and maybe kind of warn Rick that he's coming. Because there was some discussion, and I want to just chalk this up to as an error in filming, because Walking Dead likes to do those sorts of things. I don't know if they like it, but they do it. There was a lot of talk about this car that drives up. You can see in the distance driving behind Negan's guys in that scene right before Daryl blows him up.
Yeah.
There's a car back there.
Driving?
Driving, moving, yeah.
Really?
And people are saying, like, oh, is it a scout? Is it like one of Negan's guys
Interesting.
there to run back and say, hey, our guys got blown up, and maybe Negan's on the move now?
Yeah.
And potentially, I guess Jesus could be warning him about that.
Yeah.
If that's the case. I just think
It could be.
they blocked off the road.
It's like
and there was a car down there.
There's
whatever.
a jet plane in Lord of the Rings in the skies, and
Exactly.
so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's 767s in Middle Earth. It's just
Continuity error.
Yeah.
And they've done that many, many times before in this show. So it wouldn't surprise me. But
it could be too.
that's a possibility.
It could be too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're so inconsistent. You never know. Like, is this 2-week raid with Heath and Tara going to be portentous? Or is it going to be just some random fact that is for a MacGuffin of an orange soda that's never used again? Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, that happens on Breaking Bad. You know that's going to mean something. And the question is what?
Yep.
Happens on here, you don't know. The other thing I want to talk about is, so Michonne is essentially Andrea from the comics. Because in Michonne, she's actually got, in the comics, she goes through a whole lot. I mean, she hooks up with Morgan. She hooks up with Ezekiel. She hooks up with Tyrese.
Wow. All right.
She, like, plows through every eligible black man in the comic books.
Huh. Kind of like the show.
What?
Kind of like the show. It's just plowing through black men.
Oh, yeah, but I don't, I thought it's weird, and maybe this is a controversial statement, but I thought the Rick and Andy relationship felt a lot more thrown together. It's almost like, hey, we're really good friends, and we're kind of like got each other's back, and you're a woman and I'm a man, and this would be good for Carl. And at that point, I think Andrea is Andrea got responsible for Sophia, or is that Glenn and Maggie? Anyway, like I thought it felt thrown together, but it did feel right after it happened. It's like, okay, this. Whereas I felt like they did a better job of building this thing with Rick and Michonne.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, Andrea's still alive. There's a couple. There is a few genuine scares between them both, where they're both worried for each other, as you'd imagine. Do you think? Because I saw a lot of people in the forums like, oh, Michonne's got a death sentence now because Rick can't die. Rick can't be happy. But I if it goes like in comics, I feel like The Walking Dead is capable of turning a new page where they can build these lasting relationships and make genuine tension. Because, yeah, Rick can't die, but Michonne can die. But I'm not saying that I want them to dangle her over a pit of zombies, just to get her pulse rate up every week. But that is not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How firm is it that Rick can't be happy?
Well, I'm just saying that that's just the way the show's rolled.
Okay.
And that's the way the comic rolled too. Like, a lot of the criticism of The Walking Dead is it is essentially misery porn. But I feel like this is where it starts. Like, in this point, like, there's still obviously genuine menace and dread and terror coming, but there's also reestablishment of society, which I think is by far the more interesting part.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, fighting for what you love, right?
Yeah.
Like, being happy with what you have and trying to preserve it.
And it felt like very much the first 100 issues of The Walking Dead were what we've seen. Yeah. And the next 100 issues are going to be what they're getting to, which is the war between the governor kind of way to do things and the warlord way and the democratic civilized way to do things, and which is more effective. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm excited for that. And there's ways you can fuck it up, I'm sure, but it's a pretty solid era of the show, which also, unlike the prison, which was a very, even though it's a much larger arc than the farm, it was a very small arc that they blew out way too long. We're talking about, like, I think this stuff going on now is 45 issues and counting.
Yeah.
So, like, they can hunker down to Alexandria and these locations for years and have a lot of stories to tell. So it's like they're kind of accidentally wandered into playing to their strengths.
The 20-season show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that these are open air because that was another weird thing in the contract that The Walking Dead stipulated they have to have so many outdoor scenes.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Well, the hilltop is kind of like this old palisade. I think that's what you call the ring fort on a hill.
Okay.
So it's all outdoors. It's very medieval kind of in the way. Even Alexandria, you see, like, they got some shots inside, but a lot of times they're just walking around the streets.
Right.
So they can have these static sets that they keep around and still satisfy all their contract. Like I said, I mean, it's really seeming like maybe this will play into the show's strengths. I don't want to get too optimistic, but
yeah, it's been one episode. Let's not get crazy here.
Suck each other's popsicles too hard.
Right. I think we talked mostly about Dana's email here, so I'm not going to go into it. We're running super long anyway. She just was curious about how they might, who they might kill. I think she's talking about Daryl here and Glenn, and
I want to throw Tara's hat in the read. I know Heath, but if they kill Heath, that's the
who cares?
That's the most cowardly move in the world.
But it's the Walking Dead move. Let's kill the black guy who we barely know. Give him one episode of heroics and he's done. It's hey man, I just point out the pattern when I see it.
Yeah, I just think that it's like more and more it feels like they can't. I wonder if Glenn's dumpster move was a Kirkman remix attempt to pay homage to his death and the meaning it had for the fans without actually doing it, and he's going to kill Daryl. Like, I'm starting to feel like there's no way Glenn can die like he does in the comics. It makes a lot of sense, but boy, they really undercut that by having to fake out death last season.
Yeah.
So that paints a bigger target, I think, in my mind, on Daryl's back, but also the Tara would be the safer alternative. It doesn't upset the status quo, but it would be undoubtedly a meaningful death, and would give Denise, who, if I'm the creative, I've seen what this actress is doing with this role and how just kind of likable she is in this nerdy, weird way. Relatable. She's like a Eugene that doesn't make you want to cringe. She's cowardly. She's got a bunch of issues that she's fighting against, but she's putting her head down. She's doing it. I've seen what she's doing in this material, and it's kind of like, what the Breaking Bad did when they had Jesse Pinkman and Aaron Paul. It's like, oh, we don't want to kill this guy off. We want to keep him around.
Yeah.
Killing off Tara would give her a lot of stuff to do. And I don't, Tara's all right. But,
yeah,
it's more of like what it would mean to Denise than how upset I am that Tara finally got killed.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So right. I don't know if show's in a good spot 2 episodes in.
Wouldn't have said that last episode. Might not say it next episode. But for now, for a week, they got us.
They won the week. Congratulations.
Wow.
I haven't seen.
I haven't seen Better Call Saul. I haven't seen X Files.
They won the week
Sunday
so
night.
far. They haven't. We haven't seen X Files. We haven't seen Better Call Saul. But so far, they're winning the week.
Haven't seen Vinyl. Haven't seen OJ. Haven't seen any of them. All right. Well, that's it. We spent far too much time in the spoiler section talking
Speaking
about...
of, I will. So you probably don't know this because you're not current on the series. OJ on FX dropped an uncensored motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about this in the bulk of the show.
Does Gimple watch that and spit out his orange juice?
Going, all I got was a reverse.
The fact that he couldn't even do
bird.
a censored fuck. They wrote her, and then I have to think that the execs leaned on them
To censor it?
Yeah, because Breaking Bad's done the muted F word. Mad Men was famous for doing the muted F word.
Right.
These wrong people, they don't know who they're fooling with. That's such a gutless line. You think that they're seeing this happen on FX, they're pushing this boundary that they're like, we're not even going to do the muted, we're just going to do it. Now that's a 10 o'clock show versus a 9 o'clock show, but I gotta wonder.
Yeah, I mean, in this episode they threw in a bird, an uncensored reverse bird.
They've done that. I mean, him and Emily Kinney did the double bird when they burnt the Moonshine Shack a few episodes.
So
seasons back.
Is gesturing "fuck you" not as?
I think it's fine because kids don't necessarily pick that stuff up.
Okay.
I mean, I know there's parents that have 5 and 6 year olds in the room with Walking Dead, and that's fine. It's not how I roll. But there's some stuff that kids just I watched the Triumph Election special with my son in the room just as an experiment, and the adult stuff mostly ran over his went way over his head. Whereas the broad kind of comedies he thought was really funny, and even though he didn't know all the jokes, just everybody else laughing was a good. And the fucking rubber dog was just funny on the face of it. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't even know where I'm going with this.
I don't either. Show's over. See you guys.
Bye bye.